Welcome to Lesson 3 of the Basic Angel Magic course. Today we're going to be speaking about the invocation of the Shekinah. And now in an English accent that is pronounced Shekinah. And it's fine always to pronounce things with an English accent. And please don't ever allow anyone to intimidate you if you don't understand a foreign language and you need to pronounce that word with your English accent. There's a lot of people that are self-professed experts in magic out there that will try to make you feel bad about yourself, and you just don't allow that to work, okay? Don't allow that to happen. Shekinah is an English transliteration of a feminine Hebrew word which translates to dwell, settle, or inhabit. Shekinah over the centuries has become a word in its own right in the magical lexicon. Magically, it represents a universal force common to all faiths and races. In Christianity, she is known as the Holy Spirit. The Gnostics call her Sophia. The Hindus and Sikhs refer to her as Shakti. She is the Divine Mother, the Great Mother, the Divine Feminine Principle, or the Great Goddess. She is known by many names in many faiths. She is the great goddess force who is the light of all creation. As the creative principle, she is the mother who gives birth to all that is. She is the great mediator between the seen and the unseen, the mortal and the divine. She is a divine protective force, a presence of comfort and healing, a guiding light for those who are lost, and the mighty presence of bright light at the end of a dark tunnel to those who are dying and passing into the next world. This force has a very special magical importance. The Shekinah is the divine light of God. She is the spark within each of us. Our souls are one in the Holy Spirit, meaning that she is that which unites all. As you have been working your lunar rituals, you have been increasing your own light by working with this force. Now we will work with her even more directly. This light is what empowers all spells and all magic. The more you work magic, the more you will become aware of this great presence of light. She always brings a sense of peace, order, love, blessing, grace, certainty, and a feeling of being uplifted and full of true faith in all that is good. The more often you work with her, the more your own aura takes on these qualities, and the more powerful your magic is. For our purposes, this force called Shekinah must be directly invoked before utilizing any of the magic squares which are included in this and several other later lessons. When necessary, it will always be stated that the Shekinah be present for the work to be done. Invoking her presence is of great benefit to all magic, however, regardless of whether or not it is considered mandatory. Being the divine feminine, this force is carried via Gabriel through Anael, that is the moon through Venus. Thus, she is always called on Friday evenings just after sunset, if possible. The invocation calls on the Shekinah, whose presence lasts for an entire week. Therefore, if you want to work any magic in this lesson and in the other lessons where it is specified that Shekinah be invoked, she must be invoked on the Friday prior to that day you plan on doing your work. The Shekinah should always be invoked in the room where you will be doing your actual magic, if possible. Most of us who work angelic magic tend to invoke Shekinah every Friday evening of each week. Doing so provides an ever-increasing flow of lovely energy into our lives, a protective force field for us, and imbues us with great blessings and magic all week long. In addition, we are always prepared should we need or desire to work any magic during the week which requires that she be invoked, as she is always present in our lives. It is by and through the power of the Shekinah that all true magicians, wizards, witches, saints, mystics, and masters throughout all time and space have ever and will ever perform their magic. Each system and culture have their own names for this power, such as Diana, Hecate, Astarte, Asherah, Brigid, Mary, the Virgin Mother, the Great Mother, Mother of God, Queen of Heaven, Holy Spirit, Shakti, Isis, and so on. All legends and stories of magic and miracles usually include a sense of this light. Moses and the burning bush, the tongues of flame in the New Testament, the halos around saints and other holy people, the sacred fires of Brigid, the sparks of fairy dust coming from magic wands, the fires of the Druids, etc. These stories always allude to the presence of the immense, gentle, and powerful force that in angelic magic is known as the Shekinah. Anytime you see extra light in a room, a place, a person, or an object, this is an indication that the force of the Shekinah is present. When the Shekinah is present, angels are present, and they go hand in hand. The Shekinah will appear to you in forms and frequencies which you are able to handle the most comfortably. At first, it may just seem that the room where you invoke this force has a calmer, kinder, and more affable ambience. As you progress and work with her more and more, you will become aware of her light in increasingly greater quantities as you can handle it. The Shekinah is the aura of magic itself. Her presence lets you know that a magical field of power is at hand. When she is present, you are in a force field that allows your magic to work because in her presence there is unity throughout all worlds. She is the great mediator or translator between the world of the seen and the invisible. She unites the lower with the higher and allows for the medium of change and manifestation to occur. The ritual for invoking the Shekinah. It's not complicated, but it does require some preparation and practice. As stated, your first invocation of the Shekinah must be performed on the first Friday following the new moon. If the new moon happens to fall on a Friday, you may do it on the actual new moon. This is actually considered an auspicious time to call her. Make sure you understand the difference, however, between the new moon and the dark moon. After your initial invocation, you may call on the Shekinah any Friday, regardless of the lunar phase. I used to say that you can do it even if the moon is dark, but I have come to, in my practice, not do that any longer. When the moon is dark or when we are in an eclipse on a Friday, I do not invoke Shekinah that Friday, which means that for that entire week, I do not do any squares that require that the Shekinah's presence be invoked. The ritual is to be done at dusk on Friday, but if work hours prohibit this, try to do it as close to dusk as possible. For instance, if you have mornings and afternoons available to work magic, then do it on a Friday afternoon rather than the morning, since it is closer to the time of dusk. Remember that the force field that you invoke lasts for an entire week. In order for it to be replenished, the ritual must be performed on the following Friday. Before doing this or any other ritual, make sure that the room you will be working in is neat and tidy. You will need the following tools: 10 small white candles, a stick of incense or a bottle of purification perfume, a blue pen, pencil, crayon, or paintbrush with blue. Make sure that your implement is sharpened or inked and ready to draw with. A single piece of white paper or card. Use the finest stock that you have on hand. To begin with, you're going to light your incense or use your spray perfume. and carry it to each of the cardinal directions of the room in turn, starting in the east, then the south, then the west, and then the north, ending up again in the east. Waft the smoke or spray the mist of your perfume as you face each direction in turn, saying, "In the name of the cosmic creator and its angels, I bless this corner." When you have finished blessing the quarters, you may either place the incense in a holder and allow it to continue burning, or extinguish it as you desire. Place the first of your candles toward the top center of your working surface before you. Light the candle and say, "I dedicate this light to the cosmic creator." With these words, you have already begun to invoke the presence of the Shekinah, the highest force with which you are capable of working angelic magic. Next, you will draw the invoking square of the Shekinah in blue on the white paper or card. First, draw the square and the grid within the square. Next, fill in the letters of the top line from the right to the left. Then fill in the letters in the left column from the top down to the bottom. Finally, fill in the 3 letters in the right corner by drawing the I in the right column first, then the T below it, and finishing it with the other I to the left of the T. Place your completed square either directly in front of the lit white candle so that the candle is above the square, or to the side of the candle. Then place the rest of your unlit candles in a circle, either around your square or next to it, leaving the lit candle to be at the very top of the circle. Next, moving clockwise around the circle of candles, light the candle directly to the right of the lit candle, saying, "I dedicate this light to the holy force field of the Creator and to the Archangel Gabriel, who is the Shekinah." Moving clockwise around the circle of candles, light the remaining candles, saying, for candle 3, on Ariel, Angel of Friday, I dedicate this light to you that your power may work through the Shekinah. Candle 4, Angel Ariel, Angel of Saturday, I dedicate this light to you that your power may work through the Shekinah. Candle 5, Angel Cassiel, Angel of Saturday, I dedicate this light to you that your power may work through the Shekinah. Candle 6, Angel Michael, Angel of Sunday, I dedicate this light to you that your power may work through the Shekinah. Remember that since you've already started with Gabriel, you'll skip Monday. Candle 7, Angel Samael, Angel of Tuesday, I dedicate this light to you that your power may work through the Shekinah. Candle 8, Angel Raphael, Angel of Wednesday, I dedicate this light to you that your power may work through the Shekinah. Candle 9, Angel Sachiel, Angel of Thursday, I dedicate this light to you that your power may work through the Shekinah. And finally, candle 10, Angel Lumiel, Angel of Radiance and of the Earth, I dedicate this light to you that your power may work through the Shekinah. Next, you turn off any electric lights that are in the room. Stand quietly in the room, silently dedicating it to the Shekinah. Exit the room with the candles burning for 1 full hour. When you return to the room, notice the difference in the general atmosphere of the room. This is the presence of the Shekinah, whom you have invoked. Allow the candles to burn down and out all by themselves, and once the candles are finished, place your Shekinah square somewhere in the room, preferably where you can see it, but hiding it is fine as well. Each time you invoke the Shekinah, you can tear up or burn the square from the previous week and replace it with a new one that you made. In order that you don't have excessively long burn times with your candle, you can purchase extra small tea lights that have a metal holder in them. You can find them small enough that they have a burn time of approximately 1 hour. These tea lights within 1 hour burn times are often available at stores that sell Jewish religious supplies. They are known as travel lights or mini tea lights, and they are about the size of a quarter. Any white candles are fine, but please remember that you must allow the candles to burn down and out by themselves. There should never be any danger of fire when working this ritual, so it's up to you to make sure that the surface that you are working on is clutter-free and fireproof. If necessary, use a heavy fireproof plate or pan to place your candles in. If you want even extra protection against fire hazards, one method is to place the candles in a flat-bottom fireproof casserole or Dutch oven. Another is to place the candles on a pan or plate which you have placed in a larger vessel which has a small bit of water in the bottom. This will provide even extra measure of safety. Just be careful that you don't get the candles themselves or your square wet. You can always place the Shekinah square to the side of the candles or the vessel holding the candles if there isn't enough room to make a circle with the candles around the square. Always be certain that your candles are nowhere near any drapes or any other object that could catch flame. As always, make certain that you always have a fire extinguisher handy and don't leave the actual building while your candles are burning. Remember that you are solely responsible when it comes to fire safety in this and every other candle ceremony that you perform. Now, when you're looking at the square, the word tipharah, tifara, means glory, beauty, a shining thing, and it is an alternative name for the Shekinah. The little word on the bottom, iti, is a Chaldean word that roughly means is to be. Now, in this lesson, we've also included a new script called the Rivers script, or the Passing the Rivers script. It's a much more powerful script than the Theban, but most people find it more challenging to learn how to use as well. It takes a bit of practice to master. For the invoking and banishing squares in the first lesson, we only use the Theban script for our petitions because they are actually lunar rituals, and the Theban script is sacred to the moon. However, with the squares in this and several other lessons, it is necessary that petitions be written using this new script. The Rivers script is a phonetic script. In order to utilize it properly, you must not spell out words letter for letter as in the Theban script. Instead, you use the phonetic spellings based on how each word sounds. Notice that most characters in the script stand for multiple sounds. Some sounds are not exact sounds, especially in different languages. You must practice to learn how to utilize each of them to their full effect. The sounds which are given in the list are for you to begin with, but you will need to utilize your own ingenuity and imagination to see how you can write your petitions using sounds not listed. For instance, the word try is pronounced T-R-A-H-E-E, try. However, rather than using two letters to get the two vowel sounds, you could simply use the symbol for the letter A. As you can see, this phonetic sound is listed there. So it would be spelled T-R-A for try. You could, if you choose, spell out the word try phonetically, T-R-A-I as well. The word tray would also be spelled T-R-A. It is most important that you use phonetics of how you actually speak the words and to use your own powers of innovation to work things out, as that is a main place where your magic begins to get much traction. Notice that there is no F, so you would need to spell the word friend as P-H-R-N-D, friend, because the E-N, the N, is inherent in the N sound. P-H would be used for the F, R is as written, N, you will notice, is the phonetic for the sound of E-N, and D is as written. There is no letter given for C-H, but if you say the sound slowly, you will notice that it is really pronounced T-S-H, as in chair, children. So you must use your own ingenuity and powers of imagination to work out how to use this alphabet, and you will get better in time. We've included a few examples of how the Rivers script can be used in the handout. There's a few examples in French and also a few examples in Spanish, just to show you how you can use it for any language. As you practice with the script, you will become more proficient with it. Practice it by doing magic, however. The idea is that you want to be able to combine the power of sound vibration, visualization, and concentration in your magic. This is done by saying out loud the sounds as you are writing them phonetically in the script. Eventually, you will memorize the script and you will be able to write your petitions as you speak them fairly rapidly. However, in the meantime, do things slowly. A good way of working as you are learning is to work out the petition in the Rivers script first, then say each sound as you write it, and then say the sound again before moving on to the next syllable. Then go back and repeat the entire petition out loud again. Remember to keep a copy of your petition handy in your regular alphabet so that you remember what it is that you wrote and can thus refer back to it later when you want to reiterate the entire petition aloud. To create the angelic temple, begin to establish for yourself a sacred temple before you work any of your rituals. This can be done very easily and quickly. You just stand in the center of the room and face each direction in turn. Starting in the east, you would say, "Great Cherub of the East, I invoke your holy presence to guard and empower my circle." See before you a large angelic presence in the figure of a great superhuman with yellow flecks of light. Face the south and say, "Great Cherub of the South, I invoke your holy presence to guard and empower my circle." See before you an immense angelic presence in the form of a great lion with red flecks of light. In the west, you say, "Great Cherub of the West, I invoke your holy presence to guard and empower my circle." See before you an immense angelic presence in the form of a great eagle with blue flecks of light. In the north, you would say, "Great Cherub of the North, I invoke your presence to guard and empower my circle," and see before you an immense angelic presence in the form of a great bull with green flecks of light. Then see around and within you a great sphere of immense light encompassing your entire circle like a globe or an orb. If you look at the tarot trump, the world, in its more traditional iterations, it has images of these four cherubic figures that may be consulted if you are having difficulty imagining the forms. Included in this lesson are some very simple angelic squares, and these squares are very easy to draw. They are powerful yet simple enough that you can focus on learning the river script before working with them in more complex ways. You are going to make your petitions to each angel on the current of the power of the Shekinah in this lesson. The lunar magic from the first lesson is very powerful and can always be used, but these squares are going to give you the opportunity to work with this new script and prepare you for new varieties of angelic magic. Regardless of the operation you're working, always remember to follow the appropriate phases of the moon, days of the week, and angelic hours as you have been taught in previous lessons. Avoid working these magical squares on the dark moon or on the eclipses. Draw these squares using colored pencils, inks, paints, or crayons in the appropriate color of each angel. Do your best to make each a perfect square. Draw each letter as neatly as you can. The paper on which you draw your squares should be large enough that your petition can fit on the reverse side. Cut the paper so that it itself is a square. For instance, you can trim a standard U.S. letter page, which is 8.5 by 11 inches, so that it is a square of 8.5 inches. You would then draw your square in the center of the page on one side and write your petition in the river script on the reverse side. It does not matter what size of paper you use or what size you draw your square, just make sure that both are actual squares. A traditional protocol for angelic petitions is that we begin with the word please. With this script, it is also customary to say we rather than I, and you may want to experiment with this as well. Each time you receive a result from your magic, it is also a custom to give thanks to the angels who helped you along with the Shekinah, and to share the good that you have received with others in whatever ways you are guided to do. In addition to using magic to achieve our worldly goals, which is always an excellent use for magic, consider also using magic for the transforming of your own personality traits. For instance, if you have a habit of gossiping, you could begin to use magic to eliminate this trait. If you have the tendency to be unforgiving, you could use magic to transform this, etc. Magic is a noble art that allows us to become the best we can be, in order that we can be of greater service to the all. And that's the end of the third lesson for the basic angel magic. There's a lot in here, so take your time. Don't rush through anything. Take a good, solid month for each and every lesson. And we'll be back with lesson 4 very, very soon. Thanks for spending time with me. Blessed be.